In terms of how SEO works, if we just talk about obviously the big search engine, we talk about Google, they're, how they like to present themselves is they're connecting the people that are searching for whatever they're searching for with the most relevant term. They don't like the idea that they're being manipulated in any way. They don't like the idea that they're being pushed in the wrong direction, so to speak. They want to make sure that there's as little between the person that's searching for a given term and the actual result that they want to achieve directly from that. So the way that it works is if you've got a really authoritative website with amazing content that's being really heavily shared across the internet, you're more likely to appear higher up in the search ranking for a given term than if you had a very poor website that was very spammy or it just wasn't populated very much. In order to make that better for you as an author, for example, if you want to appear first for East Anglian crime novelist, then it would be a case of making sure that you talk about that subject, that you include the term East Anglian crime novelist, and that you've got a good amount of links linking back to both your page and the specific term in question, so the specific blog post that it might be. There's a whole huge amounts of algorithms that go into calculating exactly what Google do to get you up that ranking, but if you're writing naturally and you're writing with really good content, and you're promoting it properly, so through the social channels, and you're getting it in front of the right eyes, naturally you should see some progression. So I wouldn't get too hooked up on the technicalities of SEO, but if you're providing good quality content, then it should come to the fore regardless. I mean, cream always rises to the top, right? So it's very much the same.
Okay, great, thank you. Sue, is there anything else that you wanted to add to that? Or?
Well, I mean, one thing to point out is that Google, you know, we can all make an educated guess at what it prioritizes, but Google is never going to give away like a checklist, do all these things on the first page, because otherwise, you know, it would weight it unfairly, and the smaller guys wouldn't ever get a look in, even though they had, you know, really good quality product. So the best thing to do really is to try and think like a human in all the content that you put out there, really. And as Ashley was saying, you know, be aware of the different tricks and the things that can help, but don't get so hung up on it that you end up writing a piece of content that is almost unreadable because it's just so loaded with keywords. You know, so because you can spot something that's been written by an SEO specialist because they just forget to write like a human. And it's so obviously being manipulated so that in an attempt to be picked up by search engines. And I think if you're an author, you don't want to be losing that voice that you've got. And you don't want to be thinking, right, well, when I write a book, I write it in this way, but when I write for the web, I'm going to be writing in this very, very sort of artificial SEO style. So, you know, be aware of the keywords and how to add them in headings and all those sort of things so that they'll be picked up by Google, but don't let it affect the way you write too much, because then it will kind of affect your brand voice, and people will feel like this isn't something that's been written by this author that I know and love. So it's really important, but don't let it kind of sidetrack you too much.
Great, thank you. And Andrew, I know this touches on many points that are already covered in the Author Hub guide, but is there anything else that you would want to add to that authors should know about?
Well, I definitely agree. Write for your audience. Don't necessarily write for the search engines, because if you're writing something which is very stylized for search engines, it's going to read like a robot, and you're not really writing for robots. So definitely write for a human audience. One thing I'd add is actually this question just tags on a bit about bearing in mind when I use my social media accounts. So if you are using Google Plus, then your Google Plus posts will turn up in some search results almost instantly, particularly for people who are logged into their Google accounts. So those Google accounts will be their Gmail accounts, or their Google Plus accounts, or their YouTube accounts. If your audience is logged into those, then they're more likely to see those, particularly if they have already got some kind of contact relationship with you already, then your posts will be prioritized to them. But also recently, Twitter struck a deal to get tweet content back into Google search results. I've not seen any yet, so I'm not quite sure when that's going to go live, whether it will sort of turn up in the US first or Japan first. I'm not sure, but so your Twitter post, your tweets, sorry, should start appearing in Google search results soon as well.
Oh wow, okay, so if an author is actually proactively using a Twitter account, chances are in the future that's going to start appearing in Google search results.
Yes. Yeah.
Another thing on that point as well is about YouTube. So YouTube is a Google product, and you might notice when you run searches on things in Google that YouTube results come up top. You know, what are the chances of that? So if you don't feel comfortable writing a blog, or you don't feel like you've got anything that you want to actually write down, you can also do little videos. You know, perhaps you could get somebody to interview you and video it and put that online. You know, there's so many different types of content that you can do, and you might find that if you use YouTube, not only is it quite an easy, quick way of doing interesting, shareable content, but it also comes quite high in the searches as well. And if you name your video with a bit of an SEO focus, so get all those keywords in there, write a good description, which is something that people often overlook. They put the video up, think, oh, thank God for that, right, I've done that, and they forget to write a good description to go with it. If you tick all of those boxes, then you might find that your content gets right to the top of the tree in a way that just a simple text blog post might not. So it's worth playing around with different formats, I think.
And certainly the Author Hub website, we do have I'm going to do another plug.
We've got
a guide to doing all the videos. So certainly, as you were just saying, Sue, adding a kind of a video on YouTube, whether an author chooses to do that themselves or if they wanted to get in touch with the Author Hub team and send their footage to us. Not only are videos a very powerful way of actually being able to address your readers and engage with them, but as you're suggesting, they actually kind of appear quite high up in search engine rankings, so they're a good way of making our authors discoverable.
Just to add to a point that Sue's made just in answering this question and also an earlier question about making sure you put descriptive titles to your images, it's very important to do that from point of view, because obviously search engines like Google will put image search results as a sample of them anyway at the top of search results. So if you have correctly described your image, then it may be that the image turns up in those search results, and when they click on that image, they end up going through to your website or your blog or something else that's actually yours. Just another way of ranking.